Hey guys, Cal with Tekamo. Koken, our friends at Koken, were kind enough to send us a few pieces here from their catalog and use out in the field. They got a big catalog. Like, it's pretty extensive. This is the Koken catalog. I already have this ratchet, I think it was. I don't know. It's in my pickup. It's like my mini service truck that I built. You guys might like that, or think it's whatever, buy a Pete next time. I selected some, and this is what we got. I asked for the 1-inch stuff, mostly because I was kind of interested in getting another big full range set of 1-inch to try out. But I've been using their 3/8 drive ratchet a lot, and I really like it. It's really small, really low back drag. My new favorite ratchet. And I was like die-hard FLHA, whatever, Snap-on 80, whatever it is. You know the one, medium length one. I really like those, but I like my Koken one more. If I were to do it all over, I hate to say it, I'd probably outfit the trucks with Koken stuff. 1-inch drive ratchet? Sounds like a duck. Yeah, it's really nice. Oh, I can't do that right now. Sorry. My right one though. Can't do it. I got bad wrists, man. All that heavy wrenching.
If you watched the last After Hours episode, you already know that Tekamo HD is a proud brand ambassador for Koken tools. If you don't see what you want, call me, email me, or go on FortisHD.com and use the live chat. We'll get you figured out. Ooh, Koken.
Less teeth is more better, dude. I get by fine.
Everything is shiny to us, so we'll be jumping around a lot in this video. Timestamps and links in the description.
Story! Serious time, always on the A game. So we'll start with the 1-inch stuff too, I guess, because most of you guys will never see anything this big. Large assortment of seal drivers, initial impressions. They got a lot of weird in-between sizes, which I kind of like, considering, like I said, I don't run, on sockets this big, I don't really run metric and standard. I just run standard. They have these like 32nd sizes, inch and 15 32nds. 1.5 inch, 1 7/16. So I just know that I use 1 7/16 on a lot of larger metric bolt heads, and that was always my go-to. So if it fits, it ships kind of thing, you know? Like why do you need so many sockets? I don't know when you're gonna use a 1-inch drive on a 3/4 bolt. You're just gonna blow something up at that point, like on a 3/4 head. Unless maybe it's like got a shouldered, like reduced head and the bolt shank's actually bigger. Yeah, maybe. Like, that just looks funny. Whack, whack. Gotta turn those bolts somehow. Use that on your belly pans, right?
If you want it, they make it.
Hey, they make it if you want it, exactly. 3 1/8, and they still have more sizes in this range that they didn't have on hand when they shipped these. They're gonna be sending us the in-between sizes that we're missing. Don't ask me which sizes we're missing, because I don't really know. I thought this was all of it, but apparently there's more. Nice to have, especially when you're doing like cylinder work and stuff like that, counterweight bolts, that kind of thing. I mean, you don't use 1-inch drive like super often, but when you use it, it's usually high torque applications. Piston nuts are like, what, 3,000 foot-pounds sometimes? I think even more than that, actually. We'll try some of these on some of our impacts. I think most of our impacts are rated up to, our biggest one was rated up to 2,500 foot-pounds. Get on an undercarriage job and see how it goes. Another one, we bought this one for like one job because we just needed it. It's a 2 9/16. Oh, it was close. There's a 2 9/16, so it's one off. Gear wrench, nothing wrong with that. Definitely a quality, a step up in quality on these though. I like the broaching on the socket. This has like a heavy radius in there. It's like they just kind of drilled 6 holes and then carved out the rest of it. And these ones are actually like machined a certain way to engage the flats. So that's nice. I don't really even bother running 1-inch drive deeps because I don't really ever come across the need for like a deep. So I never come across something that has like a big tall thread on it. It's always a bolt into like undercarriage or something, and you almost want shallow so you can get into places. Actually, all our trucks do have like those really cheap Amazon special 1-inch drive sets, but they're not like, the selection isn't nearly that. You get like a handful of your common sizes and that's it, like 7 sockets. And those are all deeps. So we do have deep sockets, but again, like I go to a shallow 90% of the time. Yeah, nice and shallow. It's like that's at least like 1/2 inch. That's huge. A half an inch can make a difference sometimes. Here's something you guys gotta see. Edge on these versus like the gear wrench. And they have like a sharp edge versus like a little radius on the edge of the Koken ones. Not a huge deal, but sharp edges tend to mushroom faster, I noticed. So when you're hammering on them on an impact, you get these big mushroomed out like flats. I've had them really bad on some of the snap-on sockets because it's like snap-on impacts are great. I like them, that's all I run. For a long time, that's all I ran in all of our service trucks. And I like that they have a thin wall and they fit on the socket rails. That's why you see, like I only ever run impact sockets. I don't bother with chromies, but they are softer and they do tend to mushroom out in here. And snap-on ones especially, some of our really highly used sizes, they get pretty chowdered up in there to the point that we've actually had to warranty them. And mushrooming, so these normally have like a nice little tapered tip. So when steel gets hit and pounded on, it tends to fold over because it's malleable. So that's the mushrooming I'm talking about. Impact sockets, like a softer steel too. So they'll start to mushroom a lot of times in here when they're used a lot. They're softer steel so they don't shatter like a chromie. A chromie will shatter eventually. I always say if I'm gonna run one set of sockets, I'll just run the ones that will take the most punishment because a ratchet's not gonna f up an impact, but an impact can f up a chromie. The other thing too, I don't know if that little radius kind of helps it start a little easier. I don't know. Actually it does kind of, but it kind of wants to hang up on the sharp edge versus just kind of sliding in because time is of the essence when you're doing undercarriage. You want to slap that socket on and get hammering. That was always my mindset. To each their own. Plus impacts are cheaper a lot of times. Like the snap-on ones are cheaper than the chrome sockets, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I always buy the BOGO deals for those too, usually. And if it's not on, I just ask for it and usually get told to go f my hat. Speaking of hats, I got a new hat, actually. Got a new hat, courtesy of the Tekamo guys. Look at it, it even has a missing tooth, like me. Thanks, boys. I like it. That's actually another thing about this, because usually you get like a 1-inch ratchet, clunky and chungussy. Like I could blow on that and it would spin. Just stop motion that. Anyways, it's super low back drag, which maybe on big stuff, maybe you don't care as much. I don't know. But you ever get into like those spots where you're turning something, especially like, you know, maybe even like a counterweight bolt, you got it underneath there and you can't get your impact over because the track's in the way and you're doing this and doing that. And big bolts are a lot of thread and a lot of gription. So maybe it's just tight enough that using on your hand is too tight, but using it on this, the ratchet just goes back and forth and doesn't click. I find it a lot on like small stuff when you're in like an engine bay. So like back drag, I don't know if I could quantify that and measure it for you guys, but my curiosity's piqued. I'll just tape it together for now. Calibrated scientific device. And all I'm gonna do is see which one turns first. Oh, it's definitely the 3/8. Who'd have thunk, right? I mean, all things considered, that's pretty low back drag. Maybe this will actually show up better this way. Not bad. Torque test channel could eat your heart out. I thought nobody cared about back drag except me. I'm just this idiot ranting about it. They all want a million teeth. Less teeth is more better, dude. I get by fine. Really, I do. The only challenge is eating burgers sometimes and they got the real stringy onions and you take a bite and without fail every time, I get an onion on my chin. That being said, back drag is probably one of my favorite parts about the new Koken ratchet I got. It's like super low, it's really smooth. It's way lower than this. So I bet you if we did do my bullshit test back to back with this, which I'm not gonna put my money where my mouth is obviously because I don't wanna be wrong again. But if we did it, I bet you the Koken one would come out ahead. It's super low, it's really smooth. It doesn't have any chungussy spots in it, but I did notice, and this isn't on Snap-on because they've, like we run a lot of Snap-on tools, so I'm not gonna on them, but I will here for a second. I find a few times now, a handful of times, and I think it's important to put this out there, maybe you guys have run into this, the 1/2-inch drive ratchets and the 3/8, I'll straight up have like a real spot, brand new head, brand new warranty, rebuilt, whatever, And there's always this spot. It's almost like they're not completely round. And there's a spot in the ratchet that just, you can feel it tighten up. And I've checked on multiple ratchets that I've owned, and some of them do it and some of them don't. And then I've changed out the heads and then it's fine. And then I've changed out other ones from a good head because I f***ed it up other ways. And I get another head on it and it feels like so like, I don't know what the deal is there. But when I was at the Koken booth, I checked like all their ratchets because I'm just like that. I just had to touch everything. And you know, I was like checking them all. I was like, man, they all felt like perfect. They all just felt like they were all made the exact same. And like I said, it's not just shit on Snap-on. You know, I'm sure someone's just having a bad fucking Wednesday on those and I just happen to get them. But I do find a lot of that with those. Snap-on, do better. I don't know. I'm paying a lot of money for those ratchets, man. I just want them to fucking work. There's nothing more aggravating than getting in the field and you do the old crank and she flips directions on you part way or gets stuck. Anyway, whatever. Irregardless of the fact, the smallest size they make, which we don't have here, I don't think, yeah, is 11/16. And we got 12/16 there. It's just how I count sockets. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 16/16 is 1 inch. And I have an aviation background and that is legit how I would do all our sizing and counting of bolts and a 1032. Well, everyone knows 1032 screws. We just take that to the extreme and do everything like that. By the 32nd and the 16th, that's how I think. Metric, I just count like a child. This, I have to be a mathematician to do it. I have to divide by whatever and cross multiply to figure out what that is. Random test. What's bigger, 932 or 5/16? Right off the top of my head, I don't know. Now I gotta think about it. 932, 5/16, 10/16, 1032. 1032s is bigger than 932s. Does that make sense? Like, this is the fucking thing I hate about standard, but I just deal with it. Anyways, a fucking nice display up. Trying to make a little demo for you guys on how my brain works, and that's why I'm the way I'm at. But the biggest size is 4-inch, which we don't have. Well, no, I don't think I've ever ran into where I need a 4-inch or something around there, or really much bigger than 3. No, I have had to use bigger than 3. I don't remember what it was on. Wagner log loaders. I remember there was a bolt on there or a pin there that had like a big nut on the end. But same thing, I told you, I don't really come across a lot of nuts with like long threads, so even a shallow worked on that. I don't remember what size it was though. It was big. I got this little socky. What is this for? Is this just a 10 mil? Oh no, it says, they just give you a bag 10 mil, like here's a spare. Okay, hey, that was cool. Dude, I don't plan anything out. So if something cool happens on camera, it's literally just fluke. Fluke 87V Max, the best multimeter you can get for out in the field. Some people argue Snap-on 525s. Not a fan. I used to like the old version. The display was a lot brighter. Carl, I've asked you about it. Everyone tells me I'm crazy, but man, I put that thing out in the sun, I can't read it. So I'd go towards a fluke. Not that anyone asked, just a little tidbit for you. We're gonna go back to sockets now. You see the shit I gotta deal with on the daily with myself? Outside cam says hello. Cool. Oh, I love Allen's, like bit sockets. I don't know what else. What do you Americans call these things?
Alicia Keys' brother.
Who's that? Who's Alicia Keys' brother? Alan Key? Is it actually? Who the f would name their kid Alan if your last name is Keys? Anyways, yeah, starts at 4 up to 19. There's a couple skips because you don't ever really see 16 mil Allens on anything. I don't think ever. Excuse me, or 15s or 18s. I think there's just like common sizes for the Allens, I find. At least I've never, I'm sure people have, and I mean, I'm sure BMW will come out with like a 18 mil Allen or something weird like that. These Allens are nice. I like to use them. Stoked because I need a set. I need another set. It's a problem with having too many trucks. I have to get so much tools. Like actually, I buy a lot of tools. I'm sure there's people with more, but like one of our things here is we tool the trucks up for the guys. Partly so you can't, so you don't have what you need because I've given it to you. Oh man, they come on these nice rails, right? Oh no, you have to buy these extra. Oh, okay, I redact that statement. You buy the rails separate. They're still really nice. That's pretty sweet. I wonder if this is strong enough to hold up the bigger set. Oh yeah. Well, it's misleading because I think actually this is heavier. I don't know, maybe we can get a scale out. These ones are heavy and they stick out a lot. Not quite enough. That's a fail from me, bro. But this way. Yeah. Yeah, because you know, you guys like to store sockets on the outside of your box, you heathens. Yeah, down the road, going out of my service truck. Okay, so what else we got? We got these shorties. They start at 8 mil, 10, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. See, I can just straight up count those. I don't have to be a scientist to do that. I like these super shorts though. Look at that. Real stubby. Yeah, that's sweet. Something else I wanted to do. Just check this out because I always find I can't find sockets that fit on these rails. So, because these don't like to fit on these rails a lot of times, these Hansen rails. So, I don't know. Let's try it out. Is there a 15 there? Yeah. I don't know. I really like these Hansen rails. I use them in the truck. It's my kind of go-to. No, they don't fit. Almost. It's because this one, the 13, is a little bit chungusier body. So she's got the same width down here as the 14. That's what they do that with a lot of socket, like impact sockets, I find. And it's understandable, but like the snap-on ones do fit on all these rails, which, I mean, you spending the money on the sockets because they fit on your plastic rails, or are you buying them for the socket? I don't know anymore. I don't even know the answer to that myself, to be honest. I just throw them on those magnet rails and be done with it. Kind of went over these, just some short set of shorties, 15, 16s, 13, 16s. Where the 7/8? Do they not believe in 7/8s in Japan? Oh, they do. Someone just put these in. See, I didn't set these up. Somebody else did, but they couldn't count either. All I'm saying is silly meters never put a man on the moon. That's their rebuttal always. Every time you make fun of like the imperial system of measuring with the king's foot and shit. What do we got here? Shallow half-inch drive metrique. 10, 12, 13, 14, 17, 19, 21, 22, 24, 27. So no 16 or 18, which is like super common on the cat stuff and the North American stuff in general, I find. I think they make it. They probably just don't sell them as the set. FortisHD will be selling these and more equipment specific sizes for you guys. The sets with the skips in them, or you can build your own set.
Yeah, you can buy individual presets.
So you can get the sizes you want. Just because it doesn't show it in this Koken set, we know that you guys are gonna need the 15, the 16, the 18. So there's that option for you too. Really nice sockets. What is this? Oh, it's a half-inch drive. Ooh, I like it. Don't like the quick put buttons, but I don't know. Don't know how I feel about it yet. What's this one? Same thing, just no button. Oh, and a little comfort grip. I really like their comfort grip.
So that's the Z series. So Z series is 72 teeth.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that. I like that sound. I don't know, man. Does that not remind you of like getting yelled at in the garage by your dad when he's working on something? Hold the fucking light where I said. I'm just kidding. My dad never yelled at me like that. Oh yeah, it's a push button. I guess you know what? I'm gonna try this one in my truck and see. I don't like how much bigger it makes the head. I know it doesn't look like much, but 1/8 of an inch can make a difference sometimes. Plus the button. But I do really like their head shape. It's not the thinnest this way. It's pretty thin still. Honestly, it's probably the same as a snap-on. I could compare, but I don't have a truck here. But this way, it's like super narrow. And on the 3/8, it's even more so. What are these? What are these? Whoa! Whoa! These the same? What the f? One's got a big schnoz, one's got a little schnoz. Check this guy out. That is nice. That's nice. If you don't know, it's super nice to have, if you don't have one already, like a little flexi stubby 3/8 drive, which like, this is even cooler because it's got the tiny little head, like a 1/4 drive head with a 3/8 anvil. So I'm like whipping it around. Check it out. Can you see it? Can you see it? My kid does this to me. See, Dada? But that's cool. They make a long handle version. So I have a snap-on one, kind of like this, but like a long handle, like real long skinny handle with the 3/8 head, and it's super handy. But this is even, like this, if you can fit your hand in there, you can fit your ratchet in there, accessibility is the name of the game. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You spend any amount of time, like today, I was reaching on a 0 tail swing Volvo doing this. Like I had to get in behind the intercooler and there's a little bracket there and I'm doing one of these to put the bolt in. You know what I'm talking about. And then once you do get in, you still gotta tighten it. You can't leave it finger loose or finger tight. So you get something like this in there. Anyways, super slick. Definitely recommend it. It don't take up any rooms. You can keep that in your wallet. What's your everyday carry? You know, I could put them in my vent. They're so small. Maybe not that small. It's a vent. It's not a pocket. I'm a mountain biker that doesn't actually ride. My body is broken. These things are the cats. It's like I'm super stoked on these. So we already went through these have and try stuff. Sorry I'm slow at this, man. I'm enjoying looking at them though. I mean, aren't you guys? I don't know. Some are thin, some are thick. 21 starts 21 down to 10 mil. And what is this, 22 and up? Yeah, 22. So this is one set. These are all thin wall sockets. This is one range of them. I don't know if these come as a set or not, but I'm sure we can get them as a set if you need them. That's a lot of sockets, man. These are both 1.1". One is thin, one is thick. I don't know if you can really see the height difference. That's pretty substantial. For what it's worth, I would just go thin wall for everything, but we did get both sets to compare. And honestly, even their regular thicker wall version is still pretty thin. Like it's a lot thinner than some chungusy stuff that you buy from other brands. And I think there's just more range of sizes in the standard wall thickness as well. Like we're going up to like 1.5" here on 1/2" drive, which is super nice to have like large sizes in 1/2", because I mean, there's a lot of times it's not like a super tight bolt, but it's got a big head on it. Deeps, shallows, super shallows. I like these super shallows. These are nice. These are both super shallow. The only thing I would add to what we have right now, metric sockets, like I would get pretty much the same thing as this in metric, like the full range that they got, just to, because I need all the in-between sizes, really. And I like having up to like at least 32", 1.25", same thing, but I usually go to metric for that stuff most of the time. That's pretty much this table. We're good. We can move on. Check the ratchets out though. The ratchets are nice. I have this 3/8 drive flex head, my new favorite ratchet. And I was like die-hard FLHA, whatever, Snap-on 80, whatever it is. You know the one with like I'll have like red and green and blue and whatever handle colors I got. Medium length one. I really like those, but I like my Koken one more. They got cool little logo. 3/8 drive metric, we got deeps, and then we got standard deeps, thin walls, thick walls. If you're wondering why we got so many sets. What are these? Standard, no, more metric. Oh, we got 2 sets of metrics. Oh yeah, that's right, because we want to try the shallow, the sticklers and the thicks and the thins. You know, I have no idea how often I struggle to get words out. Like what are these? These are standard. These will probably get used the most. Oh yeah, thick and thins. I'll take the thins in the truck for sure, if I can. I'll run thin wall stuff. Only because I did say I don't run chromies for a reason. So the only reason you're running a chromie is to get a thin wall. Well, honestly, these are not much. It's the same thickness. I actually think it's thicker. No, it's pretty much the same. Look at that red. Ooh. I'm not normally a red fan, in case you couldn't tell. Story time. Red used to be my favorite color when I was a small boy. Now it's my son's favorite color. He's like, I like red and black. I'm like, oh, okay, MCR. He's like, I like red and black. And he's like 4. So that was like me. I like red and black. But I just kind of started liking blue for some reason. But that's a nice red, man. That's like I can't really put a finger on it. I can, literally, because it's mine here. But that's like oh, you want to actually see it? I'm just hiding it because I like it. I covet it. It's mine. So is this. Holy look at that. More impact sockets. What do we got here? Oh, nice. Here's the shallows. Oh, 1/2" drive shallows. And I'm assuming these are 1/2" as well. Standard, metric. Oh, I got enough sets to outfit all the trucks. And this isn't impact or anything. This is just quarter drive, because who the f uses a quarter drive impact? Psychopaths. That's who. Sweet, I like it. Hey, look at that. Now it's perfect. Although this is a really nice little ratchet. Can't get enough of that back drag. This one's like coarse too. Like it's nice. I like that. I want teeth, less teeth, more better. I like these little sets. It's perfect for in the truck, man. Like you could stash that in your glove box kind of thing. 12 mil interior stuff, little things. Kind of a little driver, some bit sockets so you can still screw it up. And this is a sweet little set with a sweet little ratchet. Little baby girl here. This is a nice little set, man. And you know, hey, I've said this a few times. One of my favorite things about cooking. This is what I like when I see tool companies do this kind of stuff. Because it's like, oh, hey, somebody who's actually used a tool in their fucking life has designed this. Snap on. But the knurling is in the right spot. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So it's got these cool little like hexy shaped patterns so it doesn't roll off your table if you're on an angle. Somewhat, you know, I'm sure if you, whatever, it's gonna roll off obviously, but the big thing is the knurling's up here. And it's not as big a deal on a quarter drive because, you know, you can reach your fingers around. But if you got short fingers or not a lot of grippy strength, when the knurling's down here, you can actually turn a fastener out, and that's where it's supposed to be. For whatever reason, socket companies have been doing this for years. They hate this one trick. Like this is stupid, man. You know, like down here, it's awkward. The person in like an infomercial, an awkward. Are you sick of that awkward knurling? Flies across the. But what makes more sense to you as a mechanic, as somebody who actually uses tools on a daily? You know, you got a nice grippy surface, real nice and close. So when you got those fasteners that aren't quite loose, not quite tight, but you want to keep your ratchet down there in case it hits a tight spot, you're just like zip, zip, zap. Maybe on a quarter drive ratchet, who cares? It's not as big of a deal. It's a small fastener. But when you start getting into like 1/2 inch 3/8 drive stuff, having the knurling there versus there, you can't even use it on a 3/8 drive half the time. It's fucking useless. And even when they put it on, it's smooth. Call it whatever, but like it's like maybe it's not a big deal to you. But I always thought that was really cool that they do that. Because I don't really see it. The only other people I see that do that is Mac. And I've actually debated just buying literally a set of Mac extensions for the knurling and running them with all my snap-on stuff and being sacrilegious, you know. But now I can do it with the Koken. So. Do you guys like tools as much as me? But I get to try it and tell you how good it is so that you don't have to spend money on wasted buying things twice, buying it, you know. Buy once, cry once is a big thing in tools. So I know you'll always have people just on you for buying nice stuff and saying you could have just bought one from Princess Auto. That's a metric Harbor Freight, essentially. You know, you could have just bought cheap stuff. You could. You 100% can. You can. Cheap tools will do the job a lot of the times. And I'm not here to tell apprentices they own remortgage their house and buy 3 snap-on boxes, and you don't need to do that at all. But if you're gonna buy nice stuff, dude, buy the right stuff the first time and don't around with it. I've been fortunate or unfortunate enough that I've had to buy like three or four mechanics worth of tools. I've really gotten to like certain brands and certain things about certain brands, so I buy the same thing over and over and over. And then when I do come across something like the Coke and stuff, for example, we went to their booth, but man, it's eye-opening, you know? It's honestly really cool to find. It's like finding a new song after you have the same stupid playlist over and over again. Your Spotify, you're just like you got 1 or 2 playlists you listen to. Am I in this mood? Am I in a good mood or a dark mood? What playlist am I listening to? And they find a new song you get to throw in there. That's like sweet, is it not? Like you're like, oh man, that's awesome. Never find new music. Which Australian indie is like, I'm really into it right now. I don't know why. I used to hate it, but there's so many good bands out there. So like all the Aussie guys and stuff, like you guys are lucky. You got a lot of really cool talent down there. But I'm getting really into it is what I'm saying. And I get really into tools like that. So when I find tools that are like unique, different, we haven't seen them before, it's cool to try them out. And when they actually blow you out of the water, like with the Coke and Ratchets especially, I was saying, if I were to do it all over, I hate to say it, I'd probably outfit the trucks with Coke and stuff, just based on what I've used so far. How they are open to feedback on their product. They're really open to feedback, we find. Like, guys say they want something, a bunch of guys are saying it, there's a market for it, let's produce a set for it. And they've done that. If you guys follow Kuhn Trucking, we talked to Clay about that, and he was giving us some examples of some socket sets that he had them kind of do up for like the heavy duty guys and these like long guys with the little grip nut thingy in the end of them. I'll show you guys. I actually have a set that was a gift when I was down there. They're open to feedback. You guys want to see a certain set here? You're a big cat, deer, ag equipment guy, whatever you work on. With enough demand, I'm sure they'd be open to offering sets for that, or we can make the set ourselves on the Fortis page and let us know what you guys think of it. How do you run Koken tools? Maybe this is all like, hey man, I've been working with those for years. It's nothing new. You know, where have you been? Under a rock? Yes, I have been, part of my life. Underneath machines, underneath rocks, check it out. Check out the video. Watch the rest of it. Repeat it back, you know? Watch it on repeat. Watch it again. Watch it in reverse. Can you do that? If you watch it backwards, you can hear me worshiping. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so now that we got this, the next thing to do is to, well, first decide what I'm gonna use in the truck and what I'm gonna use in the shop. I'm probably not gonna put all the sockets in the truck only because I don't really use those on a daily, but I might actually keep up to a certain size in the truck because I do use those often, maybe up to like 2.5 or so, because that's what my other sizes go up to. And then the real big ones can stay in the shop box because this is our community shop box here at the shop. Everybody can kind of come and go as they please out of it as long as it gets put back nicely. We have the big shop box, so we'll put all our extra stuff in there. You like it? You like it? You like it? I like it. I don't give a what you say. I like it. You guys want to see something cool? Come outside. This is the shop. Look how clean it is right now. Oh, there's no work in there.
Are you an experienced heavy-duty mechanic thinking about going on your own? Click the link in the description to fill out the form. Tekamo, your heavy equipment support network.
Koken. Pretty good, I like it actually. I was using it a lot. I haven't used much of the 1-inch. We've used a little bit of it. From what we've used, I really like those thin walls. Yeah, those are awesome. And they're ratchet. I'll show you. I really, really like that little red kit. The only like minor complaint I have about it is that it doesn't have like a 13 mil in it. It is such a sweet little kit. Like this is probably one of my like all-time favorite little sets. It comes with a little driver, so you can make like a little nut driver here. Nut driver, driving me nuts. The extensions, which I've gone on and on about, how I love the knurling. That's like, you know, all the little bit sockets they gave me too. I've been using those quite a bit. Out of all this, it's like my single favorite like piece or set or whatever. Probably the one I use the most when I'm doing work in the truck. I've used these actually a few times doing like turbos and stuff. Turbines. And the nut grips, the little nut grip. Haven't really used the 1/2-inch drive ratchet too much. Or no, I did actually. I used it a bunch on, I did a forklift alternator. Yeah, I don't know, I keep a little assortment of stuff in this truck. I don't keep a lot in here, but all the stuff that I do use in here, I like. It's all been hand selected very carefully. Next in line to the quarter drive is these thin wall socket sets. The thin wall deep ones. I use these quite a bit too. I like the way they look on the little snap-on impact. Looks like a little silenced pistol. Little PP7 GoldenEye. There, I can make video game references too. So far, so good. Haven't come across it not being thin enough. They've fit everywhere I put them. Did they have swivel sockets? Didn't we put that on our list? Because I got my old swivel sockets here. And they're okay, but they get a little bindy, so maybe I'll have to get a set of those. Their pricing's not bad, eh? I've been a big fan of them. I use my 17 a lot and my 16 a lot. These are the extra shorts too, like the extra shallow. When there's a battery in it. Oh, I hate these snap-on battery thingies. Like, I like that they're so tight, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is my truck setup. Have we ever done a truck tour with this? No. You want to see it? It's my first time on the channel here, so you guys like to start with a truck tour usually when you...
If you're looking for 10% off on all tool purchases through FortisHD, sign up for the text promotions by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen. Every purchase made through FortisHD.com helps support the channel.
Because I don't really run metric and standard 1-inch. I just run standard. If I lived in Japan, I'd probably buy all metric maybe and use them on standard bolts if they ever came across them.